deformed tomatoes and one wrinkled up beet and a little tiny carrot that I took out of my garden to my neighbors. And my neighbors would be indulgent and they'd smile at this enterprising little girl and give me a nickel and then ask me to get off the porch. So, yeah, it wasn't so critical what they did with the vegetables. They probably boiled them to death. But anyway, what was cool for me was that I had started my own farm-to-table food chain. And that made me happy and very proud and rich. Yeah, so I grew up and I went to Paris to be a skinny fashion model. And of course, you know now why it was easy for me to be skinny. It was a secret, but I was skinny back to my mother's dinners, right? So Paris was, it was magnificent. Fashion was incredible, but it was also terrible. You know, you're only as good as your legs and your boobs and your ability to just abandon all meaning in your life. And it was a value system that took a bit of getting used to. And it's not easy to balance, you know, looks and value. You know, once I went to a dermatologist and I had this microscopic little dot on my cheek and I asked him to take it off and it took 20 seconds. 20 seconds. And the doctor asked me for $100. I was 20 seconds for a one dot. So I'm like looking frantically, are there any more dots? Is there anything wrong with me that he can fix? A scar, you know, make my nose straighter or something. And, you know, I just had to justify the cost. But I lost myself here. Just had to justify that cost. Efficiency. Who in my team, any of you remember? So I had to justify the cost, right? Yeah, girls, boobs. All right, so. I'm thoughtless, right? I'm thoughtless and I have boobs. And Paris was fantastic, and we were living on pizza and champagne, and I still love that in a guilty sort of non-vegan way. And it was just great, and I got to buy my own farm. And that made me happy, and proud, and poor. Really poor, yeah. And you know, so after I'd been down on the farm for about 3 years, I was invited to this gala event for a big old designer who I'd been working with in Paris. And I went up, and the guy who had been my dresser years before came skittering up to me, and he squealed, "Weren't you Bess?" Yeah, I was. I mean, I am. But after 2 kids and breast milk and broken fingernails, I was about as appetizing for fashion as one of my 4-H beats. You know? So they gave me a nickel to get off the runway. But if that business taught me anything, it was that really a lot of people appear to think that perfect appearance should apply to all things. When I was shrink-wrapped and flawless, they loved me. But when I came back and I was healthy and sunburned and had bruises on my knees, I was no longer consumable by any means. And in fact, I lost my place again. I was no longer consumable. And the thing about looks and value is that sometimes in that business your only value is your looks. Not so for fresh vegetables. Why would you value a lumpy, local, spotty, delicious, crunchy, fresh vegetable when you could have vegetable products that had been living an entire life in an industrial food chain. They've been chemically fertilized, they've been sprayed with pesticides, harvested mechanically, calibrated, wrapped in plastic, put in a box, stuffed onto a truck, moved to a store half the way across the country, moved back and forth across the shelves at least 5 times, handled by 30 people before you get them. And you get them home, and that vegetable's had an entire life, and you've got a carrot you could tie a knot in. All that added value for free, for less than you pay for any other vegetable, and you get a lot of compost out of it. So I took Mom down to the bio shop just to give her some ideas about organic food. And Mom says, bio? Why do you need a bio for vegetables? Not like real food? You know, can't you just read the can? A bio like, this lettuce grew up in a sleepy mining village and went on to win the Nobel Peace Prize. No, Mom, it's bio for biologique, you know, organic food. Oh, right, she says. So, like, lettuce in a real store would be made of plastic. Come on. Just grab a can of peas and some ham and let's get out of here. I could buy a whole frozen dinner for the price of these trendy turnips. But I like to grow my own food. I like to grow things on my place for my family. And I'll admit, I can't resist a bag of nacho cheese Doritos once in a while. But who can resist a big old plate of chopped kale with fresh sprouts and apricots and nuts and, well, my kids, as it turns out. They prefer Uber Eats, and they still love bacon. And this is a carryover from my, flawed childhood. But I serve it consciously and authentically with gluten-free pancakes. I grow my own peas for free, and Mom eats them resentfully. So much work, she says. Somebody could get paid to shuck those peas for you and put them in little cans. And she's right, I don't get paid. But, recently I was out in the yard in my garden digging new potatoes. And the delivery guy comes around back and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "I like a clean, healthy diet." And he says, "You gotta be kidding, right? They're dirty and you're ruining your back." And what diet starts with potatoes anyway? They make you fat. And I said, "Jean-Luc, please, I've got work to do. You can see I'm busy. Please, just put my pizza on the porch and put it on the In my golden years, my bio will read, survived extensive pork fat, purchased a wholesome complexion for only $100, and went on to win the Nobel Prize for organic farming. And if any of you are worried about that work, the hard work, the sweat, the broken fingernails, and the love, and the deliciousness that is gardening, just say to yourself, it's because I'm worth it.